Famous actor Robert Duvall discusses the evolution of Hollywood from its golden period and offers his opinions on the subject. His study supports his belief that the film industry's collapse is due to several alarming trends. According to Duvall, Hollywood has become something it isn't anymore. Consequently, why did Duvall utter such remarks? How did he arrive at this judgment based on the changes he has seen in Hollywood specifically? What does that mean for the industry's trajectory going forward? Let's take a look at what Duvall has to say about this. And are you familiar with Robert Duvall's legend? Post a grade of A if you're sure. Origins and professional life. Robert Duvall came into this world on January 5, 1931, in the American city of San Diego. Mildred Virginia Duvall, his mother, was an amateur actress, and Rear Admiral William Howard Duvall, his father, was a member of the U.S. Navy's Site-Turn-Zero search team. The burden of meeting his father's high expectations was placed on Duvall from a young age. The admiral's hopes for his son's future in the military were high, and he planned for him to enroll at the Naval Academy. In contrast, Duvall struggled academically and ultimately realized that acting was his life's work. Looking back on his childhood, he was forthright about how he felt he had failed in many other areas. As a student, he had a tough time getting by every day, other from acting. Duvall joined in the military despite his father's attempts to discourage him. This was a turning point. He might have controlled his own destiny by changing his mind about becoming a Marine. Eventually, Duvall found himself in the Gateway Playhouse, a summer theater for equity on Port Long Island, New York, after being captivated by the acting profession from his early years. During the 1952-53 season, Robert Duvall made his stage debut as a pilot in Laughter in the Stars, a theater rendition of The Little Prince. His television debut came in the 1960s. During his early career, he had guest appearances on many television series, including Armstrong Circle Theater, Playhouse 90, and The Defenders. The existence of these preliminary performances foreshadowed the future. In 1966, Duvall made her theatrical debut in the horror play Wait Until Dark, which ran on Broadway. It was more than just a performance. As he stood under the glitter of Broadway's lights, he was faced with the truth of the situation. Even yet, he longed for more chances. Returning to the stage in 1977 for a performance in David Mamet's gripping drama American Buffalo, he had been missing for a number of years before. He was up for an Outstanding Actor nomination at the Drama Desk for his performance. Every victory he achieved was achieved on stage, his own battlefield. Nevertheless, Duvall had already made a name for himself in the film industry before he dabbled with the theater. His breakthrough performance was in a landmark feature film released in 1962. There was little need for Duvall to say anything in his iconic portrayal of the reclusive Boo Radley in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Just saying his name was enough to establish him as a major player in cinematic history. Despite the frenetic nature of Duvall's 1960s and 1970s, he managed to put on some memorable performances. Not only that, he had a starring role in Captain Newman, Maryland. In 1963, he joined the cast of the legendary action flick Bullet World and stayed until 1968. He cemented his status as one of Hollywood's most gifted actors with his turn in the 1969 picture True Grit, which co-starred John Wayne. No one in Duvall can dispute the town's adaptability. The film MASH, which came out in 1970, was his first feature film role. Even though he played Joe Kidd that year, Tomorrow came out in 1972, which says a lot about his performance. The version of the film that was shot at the actor's studio, where Duvall was training, was the one that was ultimately utilized. According to him, Tomorrow is still the best movie ever. He was more than just a supporting character. He was an integral part of it. Become a famous star. Without a doubt, Robert Duvall is now considered one of the all-time greats in Hollywood film history. He laboriously built his masterpiece in 1983, spanning many years. This was the moment when he faced adversity, and it would change his life forever. In the film Tender Mercies, Duvall delivered an outstanding performance as a recuperating country music star who battled alcoholism and shame. He poured himself into his part, rather than just playing it. His voice was full of emotion, and his eyes showed the anguish and sorrow he was feeling, which drew listeners in. The moment has finally come. Robert Duvall was one of the actors that took home an Oscar for Best Actor. Truly, it was an unparalleled victory. Finally, he had reached his zenith, a record of his own voyage of enlightenment. Nonetheless, Duvall's impressive professional trajectory encompasses a great deal more than that. Before then, he had already played a pivotal role in many classic films. The Godfather, which came out in 1972, portrayed him as the unwavering advisor to the Corleone family, Tom Hagen. He received his first Oscar nomination for a performance that was both poignant and composed. In the 1979 film Apocalypse Now, Duvall portrayed the character of Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore. The incredible popularity of the picture ensured that Duvall would once again be considered for an Oscar nomination for his role, further cementing his status as a cinematic classic. Even that year, he was in The Great Santini, playing the role of a strict papa in the military. He was nominated for another Oscar for his portrayal, which portrayed the conflict between love and discipline. His 1997 picture, The Apostle, in which he played a tortured pastor, captivated audiences. Along with his acting role, he contributed to the film's making in the capacities of writer, director, and producer. He deservedly received another Oscar nomination for his portrayal of the character. More and more people were nominating him for Best Actor. The 1998 courtroom drama A Civil Action, in which Duvall starred, placed him right back in the running for Best Actor. Duvall played a father and son embroiled in a tense court battle in 2014, the year the judge finally nominated him. Whatever Duvall did in his performances was new, powerful, and memorable. But it was only the beginning of his Oscar campaign, Robert Duvall's journey. Hollywood was only the beginning of Duvall's adventure. Additionally, he left an everlasting impression on the television industry. Known for his talented and charismatic acting, he starred in several television shows during his career. His 2007 miniseries Broken Trail, produced by AMC, was one of his biggest triumphs on television. Duvall portrayed the role of Prentice Prin Ritter in Broken Trail, a gray-haired cowboy who chaperoned a party of Chinese girls throughout the American West. There was danger, grief, and salvation throughout the story. Duvall was challenged to his acting abilities as the characters encountered different obstacles. He gave an extraordinary, authentic, and sensational performance. Along with his cowboy demeanor, he convincingly portrayed the vulnerable strength of a man weighed down by his past and present. As a result of his outstanding performance, Duvall received several accolades, the most prestigious of which was the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series. This honor is a tribute to Duvall's acting chops and the capacity of the medium to humanize complicated people. His ability to inspire his characters with boundless energy and passion was much lauded. The Emmy for Outstanding Limited Series is proof that Broken Trail was a smashing hit. The Emmy meant more than anything to Duvall because it validates his unwavering commitment to his work. His ability is on full display here, as it has been in all of his legendary roles over the years. The film Broken Trail, starring Robert Duvall, is more than simply another picture. It is the event that established Duvall as a major player in the cinema and television industry. Duvall has not only been outstanding in every film he has been a part of, but he has also consistently surpassed expectations with these Emmy Awards. A political odyssey. Robert Duvall is a guy of passion and intellect, and his political career has been a winding road full of surprises. People often characterize his political views in a way that highlights his unwavering commitment to personal freedom and the need of small government. Duvall has been able to take a stance on significant political platforms in American culture because he has never wavered from his views throughout his political career. In 2001, he was asked to attend President George W. Bush's inauguration, which demonstrated his status as a prominent person and highlighted his involvement in American politics. Rather than being driven by party allegiance, Duvall's political stances and actions are a reflection of his fundamental principles. From art to politics, his life and work reveal a passionate individual who is always on the lookout for independence and authenticity. He has enhanced the public's perception of a complicated and interesting persona in each of these domains. His public recognition as a major player in the Hollywood business was a watershed moment. Being among the nation's most powerful politicians and influential citizens made Duvall feel the gravity of the situation. I should mention that this was only the start. His public persona will soon be characterized by his backing of Republican candidates for office. Duvall boldly announced in September 2007 that he would be endorsing Rudy Giuliani's 2008 Republican presidential primary campaign. He showed his active engagement in the political process by going above and above as a supporter on the convention floor to rally support for Giuliani. A dramatic, high-stakes moment filled with tension and excitement unfolded as candidates vied for the limelight at this time. Duvall made an appearance on stage at a New Mexico event, hosted by John McCain and Sarah Palin in September 2008. With Duvall's arrival, the already electric atmosphere in the stadium reached new heights, and the race became more hotter. He went beyond acting to become a Republican Party activist, most notably by endorsing John McCain during his presidential campaign. Although this was a significant turning point in his political career, Duvall showed his steadfast devotion to his principles in 2012 by openly endorsing Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Nonetheless, Duvall's opinions evolved with the shifting political atmosphere. He became an autonomous person, which was disclosed in an interview he gave in 2014. People were curious and started talking about this because of this. So why did Duvall's perspective shift? He was able to get answers to his questions by expressing his increasing dissatisfaction with the two-party political system and by seeking a political vacuum in which to think freely. Famous actor Robert Duvall volunteered to talk about some interesting things that happen in show business. Once superstars reach the pinnacle of their professions, he said, they face the drawbacks of fame and money. In addition to expressing strong opinions about his own life, Duvall voiced serious worries about the nation's present situation. He depicted Hollywood as it really is, a place where power corrupts and where many people are more concerned with advancing political agendas than making genuine tales. These problems, in his opinion, threaten to eclipse the filmmaking profession. The remarks said by Duvall revealed his irritation and hinted to a pattern that needed to be exposed. He made it clear that he has opted to avoid the numerous political aspects of Hollywood. He claims to be an apolitical actor who would rather devote his time and energy to his craft than to politics. His remarks appear to be directing focus away from the political disputes and onto the actual art. According to Duvall, there is a lot of peer pressure in the business world to act a specific way. He observes that it seems as if everyone is expected to have the same viewpoint. Duvall brings up a valid issue by bringing them up: the fear of social exclusion due to one's political beliefs. According to him, the business must once again value different perspectives and give artists the freedom to express themselves. Because of this limitation, he believes, genuine expression and originality are being stifled, which are detrimental to the development of art. Duvall criticizes the present approach in Hollywood, saying that it prioritizes image and marketability above real talent and workmanship. The marketing campaign and the latest social media fads have made it look like the art has been lost in the noise. There was a time, he says, when the tales were more important than the presentation they came in. Actors' nuance and depth were formerly more valued than their commercial potential. In bygone eras, this held particularly true. The shallow focus on the topic, says Duvall, has led to a deterioration in narrative quality. He has maintained from the beginning that corporations more concerned with garnering publicity than creating art are now shaping the industry. He sees this current situation as problematic. A bygone era when filmmakers were more daring and invested in their craft is something he longs for. People can connect with these tales on a deep level because they are interesting, relevant, and intricate. They have significant emotional value as well. But right now he's worried that the economic interests are covering up their tales. The fact that this is transpiring worries him. Robert Duvall made it clear in an interview that he thinks who gets in and who gets out is the most important thing in Hollywood. But he made it clear that this does not annoy him at all. His films are always meant to be entertaining and thought-provoking, and he never loses sight of that. This comment exemplifies Duvall's unwavering commitment to the art of filmmaking. The art of storytelling, in his perspective, must endure unwaveringly regardless of the tides of popular taste or the dictates of political correctness. According to him, filmmakers jeopardize their profession when they want to appease reviewers or consumers. Duvall is dissatisfied with Hollywood as it is right now as he thinks about it. He thinks a lot of people care more about appealing to particular demographics and trying to fit in than they do about writing authentic, heartfelt tales. He thinks that the influence of cinema has been reduced due to the fixation on fads and the dread of offending anybody. Films, in his view, shouldn't aim to please a set of social norms so much as they should make people feel something, which in turn should make them reflect on life and form connections that will last. His feelings are amplified when he mentions an episode featuring Steven Spielberg, one of the most renowned performers in Hollywood. On CBS's 60 Minutes in 2004, Duvall gave a brutal interview to one of DreamWorks' co-founders. Spielberg went on a contentious trip to Cuba in November 2002, and Duvall voiced his disapproval. He was rather vocal about his disapproval of DreamWorks and Spielberg's direction. He expressed his displeasure and disappointment with someone he had formerly held in high regard in his remarks. "We did not make this decision without much thought." This thinking is based on the belief that one's moral principles and artistic integrity should not be compromised by the business world. A desire to stand up for what he believes in at a company that seems to put connections ahead of invention isn't the only thing driving Duvall's confrontational attitude towards Spielberg and DreamWorks. His dream is for Hollywood to finally be a place where artists can be themselves without fear of criticism. Duvall dreams of a future when the entertainment sector supports true innovation, promotes fresh ideas, and gives artists the freedom to shine. The fact that Duvall wants to make films with smaller, more personal budgets that focus on the actors and story has not been unknown. This style of film, in his opinion, allows for a deeper exploration of human emotions and experiences, which in turn allows the audience to connect with the characters on a deeper level. One thing that has irritated Duvall in recent years is the abundance of action-packed, computer-generated imagery, CGI pictures, that dominate the movie office. He thinks this method strips acting of its essential qualities by making characters into something to be appreciated for their beauty alone. A deeper worry about the film industry's future is at the heart of Duvall's problem with Hollywood as it is right now. Huge budgets and breathtaking visuals, in his view, are gradually replacing the elements that give movies their meaning. Duvall argues that movies are beautiful because they can convey tales that people can relate to and experience authentic emotions for. The cinema faces the danger of compromising its artistic integrity when its practitioners put aesthetics ahead of content. The third incident in The Godfather Part 3. Robert Duvall had a blast with everything that happened to him during filming The Godfather Part 3, because to the success of the first two films in the series. The return of each original cast member for the third picture was everyone's dream. Notwithstanding this, an unexpected event transpired. Duvall chose to come back. Duvall felt unjustly handled behind the scenes despite the massive success of his earlier works. The script and character were fine. The issue was funding. He received a much larger compensation offer for his third picture from Al Pacino, with whom he had collaborated on his two preceding features. This was a mockery of the Hollywood society that Duvall had encountered. It seemed unjust to him and brought attention to the inequality in the treatment of performers. Duvall was making a much lesser amount of money. Tom Hagen, an important character and valued advisor to the Corleone family, was portrayed by Duvall. Truthfulness and decency were more essential than money when it came to Duvall's evaluation. He felt he deserved equal acclaim as Pacino, who portrayed Michael Corleone in the Godfather films due to the significant role he had performed in those films. Nonetheless, the studio did not see things this way. Although they were prepared to pay top dollar for Pacino, they opted not to acquire Duvall. Due to ethical concerns, Duvall would not have participated in the picture had the studio not compensated him fairly for his time. This was the one limit he would not budge from. The ongoing discussions were already tense, but they became much more so when the studio flat out refused to meet Duvall's demands. He stood firm on what he saw as a matter of respect and refused to budge. Consequently, Duvall decided he didn't want to appear in The Godfather Part 3. Even though he was obviously absent, filming went forward without him. Though removed from the plot, the character performed by Tom Hagen stayed the same. Even now, after the film has come out, many viewers feel that Duvall's absence diminished the overall experience. At this time, the actor became famous for his refusal to conform to the Hollywood system, which he saw as prejudiced. Support for performers. To Duvall, there were other things more important than money. Nothing mattered more than adhering to his convictions. After what Pacino had through, Duvall just would not stand for such treatment. This technique was strongly opposed by Duvall. According to him, performers' performances suffered as a result of the emotional toll that prolonged take counts had on them. Publicly accusing Kubrick of being an enemy of actors, Duvall said so in 2010. The reason for this was that Kubrick had a knack for getting the most out of his actors. In Duvall's view, Kubrick's obsession with getting everything just right hurt the actors' mental health and the sincerity of their performances. Duvall claims that the anguish that performers endured while delivering those tales to the big screen cannot be replaced by technical advancements. Someone whose whole life has been devoted to acting has the authority to make a profound message. The video's viewers are appreciated. Post a comment and share your thoughts with us. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like this video. Otherwise, we will keep you posted on all the newest celebrity news and other entertaining videos.